If you've caught any news about the border crisis in the last 24 hours, you have been subjected to a disgusting and blatant attempt at emotional manipulation. Now, at a time when we actually need something called real reporting, instead we get this.
But look at the photo. See for yourself. That group includes men, women, and several children, some of them trying to cross after being denied access to the port of entry where they could legally claim asylum.
One photo shows a mother struggling to scoop up her children and flee the fumes.
I mean, this photo, shared around the world, shows a family running from the fumes.
That's it. It's the one photo. On Sunday, in a brazen act of lawlessness, scores of migrants attempted to rush the border, and they placed our agents, our sovereignty, in peril. Border Patrol had two choices. Let them overrun the U.S. border, like what they did to Mexico's or Guatemala's, or use non-lethal tear gas to repel the crowd. Now, these are the only images the media are circulating, women and children who appear to be running for their lives. The hyperbole, the meter in the hyperbole, was in full tilt mode.
This is a shameful American moment. It's a shameful American moment. Those children, those pictures are the pictures we saw at the end of the Vietnam War.
Now, no one wants to see children in distress, but that comment was an embarrassment. And remember, Donald Trump didn't create this crisis. His foremost responsibility is safeguarding the nation, which is what he's doing. Reporters who are either lazy or agenda-driven are using their own toxic agents to blur the eyes of the public on this critical issue. Now, this is what really happened on Sunday.
The way these people rushed the border was absolutely monstrous. They pushed women and children up front, and then behind those women and children, they started throwing rocks, cement bricks. They started throwing bottles at our Border Patrol agents.
No, just a bunch of modern-day patriots. And as for the mothers and children, well, did they make up the bulk of those arrested? No. Here's our San Diego border chief, Rodney Scott.
We ended up making about 42 arrests. Only 8 of those were females, and there were only a few children involved. The vast majority of the people we're dealing with are adult males. Similar to what we saw the first wave of the caravan that came up about a week or so ago.
Now, in total now, about 69 arrests have been made, and the crisis continues to escalate, which the Angle repeatedly warned you would happen. A new migrant caravan from Central America, the second in 6 months, is now headed up through Mexico to the United States this week. Crusading reporters are feeding the narrative that anyone opposed to welcoming these caravanners into our country are cruel, horrible, awful, rotten people. These caravans, it's got to stop. I mean, it's untenable. It's unsustainable. The people in this country want orderly immigration. Well, of course, the atom splitters over at the other networks claimed it was no big deal.
There is no invasion. There is no emergency.
They're panicked about this fake invasion.
For everybody out there that was telling me, no, it's a real story, we're worried about the caravan, they're coming, and Trump's strong enough to... I go back to what I said about Martians coming to my backyard. Well, and they're not coming. And the caravan's not coming. The leprosy's not coming.
A thought is not coming. It's not just the media know-nothings, though, who need to be exposed here. We're making a list, and we're checking it twice. And others have been very naughty as well on this issue. Now, one of the prime drivers of these never-ending caravans are groups such as Pueblos Sin Fronteras and the Chicago-based Centro Sin Fronteras. They've been organizing this caravan and other caravans for months, in fact, years. And Pueblos Sin Fronteras even put out a press release, this was last March, that reads like some type of primer for a borderless world. This is my favorite line in the press release. We demand of Mexico and the United States that they open the borders to the U.S. because we are as much citizens as the people of the countries where we are and or travel. What? Okay, they're not American citizens, but this is a classic citizens of the world claptrap that's been funded by billionaires who want transmigration to be a universal right. Now, number 2 on our naughty list, activist judges. Acting like a super legislature, district court judges continue to frustrate the president's every initiative when it comes to immigration enforcement. Just last week, the president was hit with 2 devastating rulings. In the first case, Judge John S. Teagar, an Obama appointee from the Ninth Circuit, Natch, barred the president from limiting asylum claims to those who enter the country legally. Then in Michigan, Judge Mark Goldsmith ordered the release of nearly 100 Iraqis who were incarcerated under the Trump travel ban. Now, all of this explains why the president is running very short on patience.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a disgrace, frankly. Some judge sitting in some location very far away is telling our incredible military and law enforcement what to do, and it's not right. And it's been going on like that for a long time.
Yeah, these nationwide injunctions have got to be stopped. Now, he's absolutely right. Certain judges have completely abandoned their Article III limits and are totally out of control. But Congress, perhaps more than all of the other culprits on this naughty list, deserves the most of the blame here. Now, both parties could have solved this nightmare had they acted to shore up the asylum loopholes while Obama was still president. Democrats should have struck a deal also with Trump while the iron was hot last January. Republicans were willing to grant a pathway to citizenship for nearly 2 million illegals, fixing the DACA problem. He'll do this for a limit on chain migration and visa lottery and, of course, the funding for his border wall. Now, Trump was actually excited about the prospect of this deal.
I will consider that a great achievement to solve the DACA problem. It's been out there for a long time. These are good people. These are people that should be able to stay in this country.
Now, it didn't matter. Schumer rejected this out of hand. It was more important in the end for the Democrats to deny Trump a win on immigration than it was for the Democrats to agree to protect our country and even avoid the type of crisis we see on the border now. Now, at the same time, many weak-kneed Republicans, many of whom are captive to agribusiness or the hospitality or construction industries, were unwilling to go to the mat for the Trump agenda. So nothing ended up getting done. With 12 legislative days left until they lose power in the House and only 15 in the Senate, Republicans must unite and make passing Trump's immigration enforcement agenda a priority, working through Christmas and shutting down the government, yes, if that's necessary. This is a crisis that must be addressed immediately. And we know that once Nancy has the gavel back, the Democrats' answer to scenes like this will be to just simply allow the situation to worsen, encouraging thousands more to storm our borders and put women and children at risk. The Republicans, meanwhile, have a chance to make this short session of Congress a lot less lame by addressing the most immediate problem facing our country today. But I am telling you, if the Republicans duck it once again, they shouldn't expect to be back in charge anytime soon. And that's the angle.